Hey all, welcome to Share Trek. This is Raj here. Today I want to talk to you about what John Evans, CEO of Beam Therapeutics, had to say at the Bank of America 2022 Virtual Biotech CAP seminar. It was held on the 7th of December, just a couple of days ago. But before I proceed, I request that you consider pressing the like and subscribe button, as it will help me grow this channel and it will keep me motivated to keep on improving the contents. That said, let's get started. Welcome back, friends. The Bank of America 2022 Virtual Biotech Conference showcased Beam Therapeutics CEO John Evans, who spoke for Beam Therapeutics and made a case for base editing being superior to CRISPR, and also highlighted the improvements Beam has made over CRISPR-Cas9 by retaining its seq functionality but modifying its edit function by avoiding the double-strand cut on the DNA and instead being able to handle editing individual nucleotides to effect some changes. John Evans elaborated on how base editing is superior to CRISPR-Cas9. He said that with base editing, we really address all of the issues associated with double-stranded breaks. So with base editing, they have the ability to basically land and open the DNA. They don't make the double-stranded break, so you don't have any of those chromosomal problems or genotoxic stress problems. And instead, they are making a single base change using a deaminase, which is a chemical enzyme that they have tethered onto the CRISPR that is tuned to just make one kind of change at the target site. And that change is permanent, it's efficient, it's biochemistry basically on the genome. And so they are intending at very high efficiency levels, and they do not care about the cell dividing or being a not dividing cell. It works equally well on both kinds of cell. So this is a very, very strong statement. And now this is very fabulous, but I anticipate that whenever this technology is used, I am afraid that FDA may ask the same clarification like they did for Verve about germline edits. At least that is my thought here as an investor. If any of you are experts in this field, please comment below and let me know what you think. In the conference, John went on to say, and I quote, "In immunobiology, our second pillar lead program is Beam 201. That's a quad-edited product, taking advantage of the fact that base edits don't cut. We can make as many edits as we want in T cells and stack them on top of each other for more engineering and more function. So that is now off clinical hold, moving into phase 1. Longer term, our ambition here is to use that ability to make many edits to create cells that are truly allogenic. This is more like 4, 5, 6 edits in each cell. So that's a research work that's ongoing now, and it could lead to a really significant franchise opportunity in allogenic cell therapy going forward." So let's unpack this. First off, he's talking about being able to make up to 6 edits in each cell due to superior base editing technology. Some of these edits will be for reducing toxicity and others for prolonging effective life of the cell. Earlier, I was of the opinion that with CRISPR-Cas9, you can only do at the most 2 edits. So this kind of changes my outlook. I'm going to do more studies on this. I'm going to read up more on this particular aspect, but this looks very fabulous to me. John Evans believes that Beam 101 is moving forward really quickly now in the clinic towards treating patients, which he thinks can really be competitive as a potential best-in-class product. So here I have to say that I do not share the same sentiment. I think it's not moving fast enough. Of course, it's a complicated product. It needs a lot of work, but the reality is that, as you will see further in this video, John has said that dosing will happen probably around middle of next year, and data won't come until the year after. So it's not moving as fast as we would think it would, because Zynteglo is already in the market. However, John has a point that it would be a superior product, and I'll discuss about that going forward. He went on to say that though Beam 102 is a more elegant approach for sickle cell disease, they feel that Beam 101 would do the job, and that is why they have held back Beam 102 for now. Another factor I learned is that the industry is moving away from bisulfan. So I decided to look up and understand what is bisulfan. Bisulfan was approved by US Food and Drug Administration for treatment of chronic myeloid leukemia in 1999. Bisulfan was the mainstay of chemotherapeutic treatment of chronic myeloid leukemia until it was displaced by imatinib. Though it is still in use to a degree as a result of the drug's low cost, However, Beam 102 is busulfan based. That is another reason why they did not want to progress it further at this point of time. And I appreciate the decision. I think one doesn't want to create a therapy that is dependent on a regimen that is being phased out by the industry. So this is a good call. John also said that they are working with base editing to come up with a conditioning regimen that is gentle and can be used in transplants and other situations. This, I think, is a very lucrative section of the market because conditioning is needed for all types of transplants and allogenic therapies. On a question about Beam 101, John said that they enrolled the first patient in November and it would take until middle of next year before dosing because the whole process of creating the therapy would take that much time in the first instance. However, he assured that they are working simultaneously on compressing the timeline for subsequent patients to be dosed. He clarified that the data will not come until after next year, and I find that disappointing. But that is how it is. It's a complicated therapy. It's going to be superior to what is there in the market. So that's what we can expect. On a more technical question on how Beam 101 can be superior to already available gene therapies like Bluebird and in progressive ones like CRISPR or Vertex, etc., Beam said that handling VOC episodes is one thing and it is low-lying fruit. So VOC episodes are painful episodes that people suffering from sickle cell disease face on a periodic basis. Most of the therapies that are already introduced into the market like Zynteglo are able to control the VOCs and reduce their instances. Their focus is on reducing hemoglobin S. As far as Beam is concerned, their focus is on reducing hemoglobin S to levels around 40%. Along with reducing the VOCs. While contemporary gene therapies are at 55% and above when it comes to keeping hemoglobin S levels, I think what Beam feels is that higher levels of hemoglobin S leads to organ failure, and even though existing therapies are reducing the VOC instances, they are potentially not taking care of organ failure, which is the main cause of mortality for most of sickle cell disease patients. So the way Beam 101 is going to be superior to all the other therapies is because it's not only going to reduce the VOC instances and keep it under control, but it's also going to try and keep hemoglobin S levels to closer to 40% so that organ failure can be avoided. So that's the reason why they feel that even though they may come a bit late, they need to take the time to get it right. But once it is in the market, it will be a superior option. And it will be the market leader when it comes in. And I believe that if that is the case, that's how it will work out. John was very optimistic about their novel strategy called engineered stem cell antibody paired evasion, which they call with the acronym ESCAPE, which could be used to more safely prepare people with sickle cell disease for experimental gene editing approaches for treating the inherited blood disorder. This conditioning regime, if successful, could be franchised and can form a potential revenue stream for conditioning the body for transplants and therapies, in my personal opinion. And it can replace some of those more intrusive and hard on the body kind of conditioning regimens that are in use right now. With regard to a question on Beam 201, the strength of base editing came through as Beam described the multiple edits that have to be done to handle the fact that antigen expressed in malignant cells is also present in the T cells, and so T cells could kill each other off. To prevent this from happening, multiple edits are needed to remove CD7 and PD1 to create a product that can create the desired lymphodepletion. I think this cannot be done without base edits, so there is a superiority of base editing which enables them to come up with this product. Now let me come to the conclusion, because I know that for people like myself who are not scientists, and probably for people like you who are watching this video, all this thing is like gobbledygook. So let me come down to conclusions. So I spent a long time thinking about this after I read the transcript and went through all the details. And here is what I think is the conclusion I take from it. I feel a bit more optimistic about Beam now. It's understandable why Beam 102 is not being progressed presently. Their collaboration with Magenta and efforts with ESCAPE is likely to be very lucrative if successful, as it would take the conditioning regime to the next level. It will be a new high level, I would say, like we have moved from 3G to 4G to 5G when it comes to telecommunication. I think similarly it will be an upgrade in conditioning regimen for better quality of care for patients. Overall, I don't think we can expect any monetization next year. At the earliest, Beam 101 data might come early next year, early the year after that. So I think it's still moving slowly, even though John Evans is saying it's moving fast. Now, with the understanding that hemoglobin S levels above 40% contribute to organ damage, if Beam 101 is approved, it would be a superior therapy because, unlike others that reduce VOC instances, Beam 101 will not only reduce VOC instances, but it will also reduce hemoglobin S levels and take it down to around 40%. This will lead to a competitive advantage and compensate for the delay in commercialization, in my personal opinion, because the Beam 101 solution would not only take care of the VOC instances, but also prevent organ failure. So these are the takeaways that I have. Overall, I think this talk is for people with deep pockets and immense patience. It's going to take a while. And that's my thoughts. And if any of you are very well versed in CRISPR and Beam and other technologies, please feel free to comment below and correct us where I might be wrong, so that we can have a better understanding of this product and also of Beam. That's all for today, my friends. Please let me know what you think, especially if you are a professional in this area and you find some of my interpretation faulty. As a generalist, I try my best to parse the information, but I'm always open to be corrected. Thanks and have a great day. Bye for now.